Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. It is a lovely day here in Chicago. A little bit chilly, a little bit windy, but that was okay for me today. I've been wanting it to be warm and windless because I've been trying to do some swimming in the lake. But this week, I told you guys about it yesterday, I just signed up for a gym membership. There's one right by the grocery store, and that gym has a pool, apparently. I didn't know that. I signed up for it and I went today. So I had to swim in an indoor pool. It turns out that's a lot easier than trying to swim in choppy waters of the lake. So I had a really good time out there today. I also did have a run this morning too. Nice and easy run. So been enjoying a little bit of land and sea, I guess. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Everyone on the podcast version, audio only version, hopefully you're doing all right. Having a good run out there, getting nice and loose. Not going out too hard today, unless it is a hard day for you. So hopefully you're having a good one. And everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, hopefully it's a nice time where you can sit back and relax with a beverage of choice. I've got a nice afternoon coffee, and it is very tasty because I'm just a little bit sleepy. I've been doing a lot of new things, and like mentally, physically, it gets draining. It gets draining. So, all right, let's see who's here in the chat. We got Chrisia says, co-family, are we all converting to swimming now? I mean, maybe it's summertime, so like it's a good time to get in the pool, get in the water. And enjoy ourselves. Does seem like a lot of us are swimming now, so that's kind of fun, right? Something new. I did order. Did I order it? Yeah, I ordered it. I ordered a new set of swim trunks because I do have some swimsuit. So I still call it a bathing suit from now every once in a while. And then someone was like, "That's a sure sign to know how someone's old if they call it a bathing suit," because apparently Biden referred to it as a bathing suit at some point. But the one I have, I just noticed has some tears in it. So I've had it for a long time. I got it before Daddy and Me swim classes with the baby. So it's like 4 years old. So yeah. Running Man Sam's here. What's going on, Sam? Good to see you again. He says, hey, man, hope you're doing okay. Doing great over here. Hope you're doing well. Sam's got some really great videos coming out. Or he just came out in the last week. So everyone go check out his channel. He just looked at the Pro 2? I thought I saw. Looks good. Albert Lung says hello, hello. Jonathan Ward says hello. Lots of hellos. JC says hello. I think were you guys waiting for me to start? I got a little bit of a late start today. Sorry about that. Recycle on Wednesdays here as well. And Scott says happy to be here. And I have a training question. Well, let's go, Scott. Hopefully we can get it answered. If I can't, there's someone else here that I'm sure can get that answered for you. Oso says hello. And Lucy Sarah says, yo, what's going on? Terry wants to know, am I not getting a try one piece? I've been messaging with Remy because he's been getting one. I think he's got a triathlon coming up. His triathlon's the same day as Chicago. His is in Boston, which is close to him, and mine is in Chicago, close to me. So we each got one, I think, on the same weekend anyway. And he got one, a sleeveless one, which for me seems like, if it's cold enough to need a wetsuit, don't I need some sleeves? I don't know. I don't know anything about wetsuits. I've never tried on a wetsuit. I don't even think I've touched a wetsuit before. So that's kind of that's how far I've been from it. I was originally thinking like maybe I can get away with just the wetsuit pants because it would give me some buoyancy. But I think I'm gonna go try and just get a full suit. Remy's here, by the way. Remy says, "What it do? What's going on, Remy?" And Dave's here, Chase the Summit. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Richard Smart's back again from Harker Heights, Texas. Good to see you. And Smile 3429 is here. Look at the Lolu. Says howdy. Ted and Ruth gives a wave. What's going on, Ted and Ruth? All right. Here's Scott's question. Rest day before a long run or after, or does it not matter? Yeah. I would prefer to do. I usually like to have the rest days after the long run, but I would say be flexible about it. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for it. I think it depends on what you got, what else you have going on around it. So I would say normally, just absent context, if you're saying like when's a good time to have a rest day after the long run would be my preference, because usually it means more time on feet than you normally do, a little bit more wear and tear on the body. But let's say you got your rest day let's say you got your long run on Saturday and it's got a little bit of a workout component to it. And you also had a track day on Thursday. That makes Friday a really nice day to have a rest day. So that's kind of like one of the ways where I would say like, if you want to just give the body a little bit, now I also love recovery runs, but if you do want to give the body a little bit of extra, just kind of like, time with your foot off the gas for a minute before a long run, then I think that that's a good way to do it. But I would I'm still kind of leaning towards after. That's my gut instinct on that. Richard Smart said, my son just heard you say swim, so he decided to jump in the pool. That's nice. I wish I had a pool. I'm very envious. All last summer when we were at my in-laws' house, I spent the entire summer watching those like pool renovation shows, or like those like backyard pool like building shows, like extreme pools or whatever. Yeah, insane. So like I don't need like a grotto or anything like that. Just some water I could get the kids into. If there was like a little jacuzzi portion as well, I'm a simple man. I just need a jacuzzi in my own pool in the backyard with maybe a pool cage if it's in a hot, buggy area like Florida. Simple, right? All right. Luis says he always takes his rest after a long run. That's kind of where I would put it too. Dimaji Brown, good to see you again, says, does anyone chafe in 2-in-1 shorts? I don't usually have that problem. Yeah, like I'm not a huge fan of the 2-in-1 shorts, but here's the other thing that I'm thinking. I'm thinking that, like, I don't know, why aren't shorts with liners just more common? Like, running shorts, like imagine just like wearing running shorts around. Now, a lot of people wouldn't because they're short. They could be 2-inch, 3-inch, 5-inch, might be too short for a lot of people. But like, some running shorts can be 5 inches, 7 inches. If you put a liner in that for the summer, that's going to be a lot cooler than shorts and then a set of underwear underneath. So, I'm trying to make that a thing this summer. I'm not going to like show people like, hey, guess what, guys? I'm not wearing underwear, just a liner. I'm not going to be doing that, but I think I'm going to be wearing my running shorts around a lot more. And we got some updates from Remy. He says, yeah, the Boston Triathlon is the same day. And he goes, the tri-suit, under the wetsuit is nice. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. I always forget that there's two things there. Tri-suit under the wetsuit is nice. Comfortable and great for transition from each event. Yeah, that's another thing that I was thinking about too. I've been looking at some triathlon shorts. So they have like a little bit of a pad underneath in the undercarriage, I guess. I forget what that area is, what they call that area. For when you're sitting on the bike for a long time. But I'm like, do I really need to have like the way that those tri-suits are cut? They're cut like kind of like muscle tees, like as if I cut like this t-shirt off, like from this seam right here. You remember how everyone cut all their shirts in the 90s? Do you guys remember that? Did you guys do that? I did that. All my t-shirts cut at the sleeve here when we were playing basketball. That is not a flattering cut for me. And so like I like singlets that are cut real short to like right up to the neck, and then have a lot of exposed shoulder. Like that's the kind of like singlets that I tend to like. And I really haven't found a lot of the tri-suits that look like that. So I'm like, can I just wear, but I guess like it'll flap around in the wind. So, I don't know. I guess, I think the first time, I'll do as the Romans do, whatever is like, I'm just kind of buying like whatever's popular on Amazon when I'm looking at stuff. So like, well, I'll show you guys like everything that I get as I'm getting it, Yeah. Jonathan Ward said, this is my first summer marathon training with a specific finish time in mind. Should I be adjusting the marathon pace portions during long runs for heat and humidity? I run in the morning if that changes it. I would say yes. And, it's your first summer marathon training. So I'm guessing you don't have a coach. That's why you're asking this question. But the other thing that I would consider is, when it says like marathon pace in your training plan, that should change over the course of your training block as well. So like, that's another thing to keep in mind. If you're not sure how to change those, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But the way that I would think about it is like a lot of your, like, if your workouts say like marathon effort or marathon pace for some of your miles, that shouldn't like really wipe you out, when you're done with the marathon mile portion. Because remember, at the end of this training block, you have to run 26 of those. So like, if it is wiping you out, like if it's like a super hard workout because you had a long run with like a 3-mile marathon effort stretch in there, if that is a hard workout for you, you need to back off that a little bit for the next time. Not a ton. I'm not saying like you got to, go back to the drawing board, but back off that just a little bit, because then you're not getting the exact right effort. And then that might affect your ability to hit it harder for the hard workouts, like the very high intensity ones. But Your ultimately your kind of like intuition here is right. If it's super hot, super humid, especially if it's going to be like, if you're training for Chicago, for example, where there's some years where it's hot, but a lot of times it's a little bit cooler. And wherever you are now, it's like, 80 degrees and humid when you're running in the morning. Be kind to yourself, be realistic, and back off just a little bit. All right. Lulu says, currently searching for a running bladder / vest. Any suggestions? My favorite right now is the CamelBak Zephyr. Is that the one I like? Yeah, that's the one I like. I have it, the gray one. And then I think it comes with bottles and a bladder, if I'm not mistaken. The bottles I think are a little bit heavy and they just jostle around all up front. And like I find that with a lot of the vests. For me, maybe it's my body shape or my running like posture, but I get a lot of jostling with the upfront bottles. So I've been liking the bladder in the back with my vest. And that one, I also really like that vest because there's not a lot to it. So it just doesn't get as hot and clammy as some of the other ones do. Jameson Murphy says, what do you think about the e-bike phase? My running buddy and I had a conversation about that, not last weekend, but the weekend before. He does not like them. He's been a Chicago like cyclist for a long time. Like he He used to bike commute a lot. Now he run commutes a lot too. But like he and my other buddy he moved down to Austin. But like, those guys were always taking their bikes everywhere. And like, he's like, I hate these electric bikes. They're just taking up space. And I'm like, well, the way I like to see it is that at least along the lakefront in Chicago, there's the bike share bikes. Some of them are electric. And I'm like, that's probably someone that would have taken an Uber, but since there's an electric bike, they're taking that instead. So I feel like on the over under, I think I like it. And he's like, I hadn't thought of that. But so I'm pro e-bike, but I do not like the scooter share things, like what is it, Lime? I don't like those at all. All right. So I'm trying to keep up with you guys in the chat today. Ines is here, says, hi, Kofuzi and everybody. Finally getting somewhere with clearing the old house. So back running with Pip and back to the live stream, and also got my second vaccination today. Oh, man, that's great news. So great to hear it. You know who else? I think this person also got vaccinated today. I think Suguru Osako got vaccinated today, the Japanese marathoner. I don't know because I don't speak Japanese, but if you guys follow his Instagram, in his story, there's a picture of him in a car, sleeve up. Someone's about to give him a jab. And then there's Japanese text all over it. And then there's a really long post after that with a lot of more Japanese text that I don't know how to read. So I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think that means he got vaccinated today. So that's cool. Good for him. New Betra says, I had some craft tri stuff that was thin, but still fine on the bike and everywhere else. But yeah, sleeveless. Okay. And Remy says they do make tri suits with the sleeves. See, oh yeah, okay. So I gotta get my terminology straight. There's the wetsuit. The wetsuit I think I want a sleeve on. The tri suit I don't necessarily want this because it's gonna be hot. It's end of August in Chicago is hot. So like, yeah, I don't know. Ed Chan says, if you had a top gear star and a reasonably priced car style leaderboard for 2021 shoes, which shoe is at the very top? So like, are we talking about the star or because on the star and a reasonably priced car has the same equipment, the car, and then the stars are different. So then like, like what, like a celebrity would do good in a pair of like, let's go with like Reebok Grows, because those are $100 or like 110, something like that. Or the Forever Float Ride, Forever. I don't know the name of it. The Float Ride, the one that's good from Reebok. Yeah, because then they have the other one that the Stig drives it, and he drives all the different cars, and then they put the cars are on the list. So I think that like, yeah, I don't know, like who would be a good. Like who would be the media that you would, or like I think we'd have to figure out who are the stars, or we could do like a Pegasus or a Beacon, or like, Pegasus is still $120. So that's average, but I wouldn't say I don't know that's necessarily reasonable. Yeah, I guess it is. So we could put like a Pegasus there or a Beacon or, like a Clifton, or I would put the Nova Blast in there, but that's a little bit more expensive. But anyway, that would be the reason you were heist car. And then I don't know who would be the fastest on that. I mean, probably like Ben Parks, right? Because he's not a pro, you know. I think Seth wouldn't count on this category because he's made a Team USA before, right? So I don't think you can count Seth. I think Jordan Thomas would be high on there. Let's see. TFXC would also be really high. He won a half marathon a couple of years ago in a pair of Mach 2s, I think. So that, I mean, that'd be kind of fun. We'd have to have the same course somehow, you know. See, I feel like, you know who would be able to do this really well, although it's not really his kind of like style, like Rich Roll, because he's got that. He built out a new. Oh, you know who could do it, and who would be perfect to do it, because they've got a tall one and a short one in terms of potential hosts. They should do that at the Believe in the Run, right? They should have guests because they're opening up a new space, a physical space. So they should have guests come over to film a podcast episode and have them run a course like around the Inner Harbor, almost like parkour. And then they have to do it in a set pair of shoes for that year, like maybe an endorphin speed, even though that's a little bit more expensive than reasonably priced. So I don't know. I'm all over this. I love these ideas. Yeah, that gets me excited. That'd be pretty fun. All right. Kirabat says, if you have an X% on one foot and a Bondi on the other, do you end up running in circles? See, that's an interesting question, because the Bondi is the slower shoe. So like, I think that would make, if this is the Bondi, then the slower shoe would make the other foot seem to come around faster. But the Bondi is taller, isn't it? So then you're leaning this way. So then maybe you would end up, maybe those two things would end up balancing themselves out. I'm not sure. I feel like your feet would hurt if you did that, no matter what. All right. Ian, though, says, hi, Kofuzi from Southampton, UK. Great to chat with you. I'm sure I said Southampton wrong. Sorry. Great to chat with you for the first time. Welcome. So thinking about Nova Blast 2, should I half size up or wear Thorlo socks? Ian. I'm not familiar with those socks, but I actually was messaging someone today about the Nova Blast, and they were asking me if I sized down. And I responded, like, if you've got a narrow foot, then I would think about sizing down. There's a lot of room in that shoe. It's not something that I think everyone needs to size down. I went my regular size, but I'm having a hard time imagining a situation where people would need to size up. Like, you would really need to have a very wide foot, I think, to have to size up in that shoe. So I would say generally no. It seems to run a little bit big, in my opinion. I don't necessarily think everyone needs to size down, but you know, if you're a person that sometimes does have to size down, then you probably want to. Chris Dyke is here. Good to see you, Chris. And Recycle on Wednesday says, I know you explained this, but what have you been doing with your tech while swimming in the lake? I'm thinking of going to the pond, but not sure what to do with my stuff. I just leave it in a pile. So I'm being trusting that at like 6 o'clock in the morning, there's not a lot of people on the beach there. Now, sometimes what I'll find is, and it usually happens like right when school tends to end, or right about when school is about to start up again, is at those times, there's a lot of people that come out. It's usually like Saturday morning. They'll go out like late, go out partying Friday, and then be like, you know what we got to do, guys? We got to go watch the sunrise at the lake. And so you'll see people there. They may or may not still be drinking by the time like the sun does come up. Those are true champions there, I guess. So you see that some of the time, but they're not usually hanging out. They're hanging out at the parts that are the closest to kind of get to from where they can park their cars. They're where like the sand is, it's like dog walkers and other people that are exercising. So for the most part, like I feel like, you know, those are people who are there every day and they're not going to mess with your stuff. So like, you know, but when I do kind of like see that a person's getting near my stuff, I do kind of like look over there and check to make sure that nothing's happening. But yeah, I just kind of like leave it in a pile. So I don't know if that's recommendable for everybody, but yeah. Danny, 40 plus and running in California, says, good morning, Kofuzi. Good morning, Danny. All right. The comments just jumped. So if I missed your comment, sorry guys. Yeah, Remy says, who will be the Stig if we're doing this running version of, if we're doing running version of Top Gear? I do think that Ben Parks would have to be the Stig, right? Well, the Stig, who was this? The Stig was, I mean, were there multiple Stigs? I think there were multiple Stigs. Wasn't there an episode where they were like the Stig is Michael Schumacher? Right. So in that case, we would need a pro. But I feel like if it was supposed to be like a mystery, could we convince Ben Parks to run in some sort of face covering, right? Like a helmet of some sort, so he'd be a mystery runner. But I feel like he'd be fast enough to be able to put the shoes through his paces. I feel like he's also consistent enough. He's not like me where I'm like, I don't know, if you take my watch off, I could be running at wildly different paces than what I think I'm running at. So I feel like that could be a good one. And I'm thinking, he's English, so there's that Top Gear connection for me. That's who I think the Stig should be. Andy could be another good one too, because he's also like really fast, so he could really put the shoes to the paces. Yeah, that'd be a good one. There's a couple, yeah. I'm thinking it'd have to be someone from the UK. That's what I think. So there's a lot of good options. Ken Sprague says, good afternoon, Co. Feels like I'm seeing you a lot on the path these days. Go on, Ken. If you see a guy running with a pickle hat, that's probably me. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, you know what? It's been great. So many people are out on the lakefront path, and it's great to see a lot of regulars now. I mean, I still see my other regulars that I've been seeing since we came back in January. They've been out there. They're still out there. But I'm seeing also a lot of new regulars. Not to say that you're new, Ken, but like I've been seeing just lots of other people that are getting out there and running regularly. Now I know like a lot of like the local run clubs have started their like marathon training plans and stuff. So that's probably a big reason why for it. But I'm good to see. I'm happy to see it. The more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. So it's been great. Yeah. And I'm out there almost every day. So it's good to see you, Ken. All right. John says, now that the Boston 10 is a totally different shoe than the previous iteration, thoughts on the Brooks Hyperion Tempo for track and speed work? I think that'd be a pretty good choice because it's not terribly tall. Not that like you're doing like super tight turns on the track, but I do think that'd be a pretty good option. It's a shoe that you can certainly run to the track. Like that's how I normally do it, is run to the track and then run on the track. Now, I did just order a pair of spikes. Hopefully they're coming tonight because I have another speed session coming up tomorrow. I'm trying to do 2 a week until the steeple. And then, so then I'll be running with a pair of shoes up there and then changing into my spikes for the workout and then running back. So, yeah. But I think the Hyperion Tempo would be a very good choice. It's the shoes that I bought for my nephew, who I just talked to over the weekend. One of my nephews running track. He started out. Oh, you know why he did started running track. He started running track because he's a swimmer, is his primary sport, and he was able to just qualify for like the state meet, and he basically got his, I don't know what the swimming equivalent of getting your doors blown off is, but that happened to him. Like that's how he explained it. I'm not saying that like he got embarrassed or whatever. He made it to the state meet, so it's pretty impressive. In Iowa, where I feel like swimming is pretty big there. And he was just like, if I want to get to these other guys' level, I got to get more endurance. I got to get stronger. And so he decided he would just join the track team. And he didn't know what to do, so they put him in the 800, and they moved him up to the 2 mile. So, I sent him a pair of Brooks Hyperion Tempo. He really likes them, and I feel like it worked out for those longer distance races that he's doing. So I do like that one a lot. The pizza's here. He says, hey, Co, I just bought the Mach 4 and they feel great. Awesome. I really enjoy that shoe. I haven't run it in a couple of days. I'm getting close to 100 miles on it, so I think I've been kind of saving it. I have like one more, I think, versus video that I can make, and then I'll make the 100-mile update. I'm at like 80 miles. I've been sitting at 80 miles for like 2 weeks, I think, on that one. Shannon says, hey, Co and Co. Hey, Co and Company. Co. Sometimes you say Co and Co. Hey, Coco. The Nova ones were narrow for me, so I got the men's size. Women's size 1.5 bigger. Oh, really? Interesting. I've always thought that they were pretty like spacious. They were long. Maybe I'm getting it confused. I just remember having a lot of space in there. It seemed unnecessary. And Brendan, what's going on, Brendan? Says the Nova Blast 2 is available on A6 website in Canada if anyone's interested. Awesome. Tony Vu said Sage would be a good Stig. He said the Stig. Darn autocorrect. Yeah. He would be a good one too. And I think we could totally get Sage to run in a costume. I think he would be down for that for sure. That would be fun. That'd be fun. And I think that would be probably like the closest thing to having like a Michael Schumacher, you know, as the Stig. But I don't think Michael Schumacher was always the Stig. That just wouldn't make sense to me. I think that was just like one episode. They were like, hey, let's have Michael Schumacher on the show and let's tell everyone that he's been the Stig. Am I wrong on that? Am I making that up? I think. Chad Marie says Ben Collins was a Stig for most of the series. Okay. Yeah. See, I didn't think it was a Stig always. All right. Steven Sinatra says, hi, Kofuzi and everyone. Steven from Bali, Indonesia here. What's going on, Steven? Awesome. I was thinking of buying my first Hoka shoes, which will be the Clifton 8. Is there much difference between the normal and wide options? Thanks. All right. We're going to lose my camera here a second. Guys, I got to figure out something to do with this camera. It's always overheating, but it's like, it's been 30 minutes. It shouldn't do that. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I mean, maybe I just need to get a different camera or a webcam, but all right, we're here. Is there much difference? You know, I've never needed a wide size and I've never tried on a pair of wide size shoes before. So I actually don't know the answer to that. But I would imagine that the difference would be noticeable. Otherwise, why go through the extra expense? Not only of making a different shoe, but of potentially having like unsold inventory of having the wide. So I feel like the reason why like every single shoe doesn't come in a wide is probably because they don't always sell, and I think it probably does make a difference. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking. Frank says, would the Welsh runner make a good Stig? I think he would too, because he's also super fast. Yeah. Is he still mustachioed? Does he still have the mustache? Did he get rid of it? I haven't seen him. I don't know. I think because my YouTube feed has been filled with Western States videos and swimming videos. So like, you know, I'm not seeing my normal people, which has been kind of weird. So is he still wearing the mustache? I feel like, you know, in my mind, I feel like a Stig needs to have a mustache. Chase Summit says, thoughts on the Ultra Torn 5s? Mine were just delivered today. You know, I'm not sure. People were saying it was going to be a lot like, is the Torn 5 the one that people were going to say was going to be like the 4.5 plush or like the plush versions? For whatever reason, I have it in my mind that it's not going to be one that I'm going to review this year. I think I'm going to look at the next, I'll look at the next Superior, which I don't like the design of it this year as much. Maybe on foot it'll look better, but I'm not excited about the design as much as I was last year. But I'll look at the new Superior, and then I'll look at the next Escalante. And that might be it, because I'm already looking at the Lone Peak right now. That's a lot of ultras for me. So I'm not sure like if I'll get to the Touring. But I didn't like the 4.5. Did I had the 4.5 plush, right? I think that's the one I had. I didn't like it. So, you know, I'm not as excited about the Touring 5, but, you know, I hope for Ultra's sake, it's a brand I like, and I hope that it does well. Kirabat says, hi, Kofuzi, great show. Do you know why there's no wide fit high stack carbon plated shoe? I think the makers are missing a trick. You know, it's something that's come up. People have mentioned it before that like there should be one, but there doesn't seem to be one. You're right. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because like the amount of units they sell on the carbon plated racers wouldn't be enough to justify like the extra production costs it would take to make the wide. That's my suspicion on it. Just for the same reason that not every single shoe that a shoe company makes comes in a wide. It's usually only the most popular shoes for the most part. So I think my guess is cost. Let's see. Adam JK says, First ever real race this Friday. Oh, awesome. Not only first real race since the pandemic, but first ever real race. Awesome. Says, don't think I'd ever gotten into running this much without you and this community code. Thank you all. Awesome, Adam. You'll have to let us know how it goes on Monday, because I can't wait to hear about it. Hopefully you have a good race and you just make sure you go out there and have just the best time. That's awesome. Very cool. I'm very excited for you, Adam. Greg's here. It says, hope all's good. Gonna have you in the background as I work. Very cool, Greg. Good to have you here. I just signed up for the race that Greg is involved with. It's the Lou Blonde 5K. It's the week after the Chicago Marathon. So I'm going to be doing that one. And yeah, I'm going to use it as kind of like not a shakeout run, because I'll probably have my like first run after the marathon, like, probably Wednesday or Thursday. But, that one, I'll be going out there, going just have a good time and enjoy. So if you guys are in the area, we should all go hang out. Yeah, New Betcha saying, going back to having Schumacher as a Stig. I think it was just the Stig as a joke for that one episode. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, John is here. She says, hi, everyone. Got a question. Do you ever take any supplements to treat headaches? Been having terrible headaches for the past 3 months and never had them before. For me, usually when I have a headache, it's because I haven't had enough caffeine or I had too much caffeine. That's usually what's going on for me. I can't remember the last time that I was like, oh, I got a terrible headache, I need to take an Advil. I mean, that's what I usually use. I like ibuprofen more than Tylenol or than aspirin, but that seems to work better for me. I just really enjoy Advil. But I haven't taken it for, I don't usually take it. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Well, hopefully that is something that clears up soon. Maybe now that you got your degree, maybe that's what it was. Hopefully that's what it was. And now hopefully things are a little bit less stressful now, and you can, maybe the headaches will resolve themselves. All right. Chase said, where's something from Chase? Where'd it just go? Sorry. Here you go. Oh, okay. Chase says, Kofuzi, do you have the camera in 1080 or 4K? 1080 shouldn't overheat. I think I have it in 1080. That's what I usually leave it on when I'm doing live stream. I only usually shoot in 4K when I'm actually recording for talking head portions of videos. And then I can shoot for, I try not to shoot for 20 minutes straight, but sometimes I do 20 to almost 30 minutes and it's not a problem. But for whatever reason, when I'm live streaming and yeah, it's just overheating. I don't know. It's pretty frustrating. I mean, because I always thought that like everyone was saying like, all the overheating issues are resolved in this Sony a6100. I'm like, not for me. It isn't. I'm not even recording. I'm just using the video out for when I do it. So it's like not even recording anything. I wish there was a way I could just take the battery out and then insert power instead of having like, I know you can get like phantom batteries, but I think that like a big part of the heat is like in that battery chamber. There's a lot of heat that gets generated in there. So I don't know if the phantom battery packs would still provide enough ventilation. I don't know. I've been thinking about it, but I'm like, that's starting to get complicated here. I don't like complicated. Yeah. Steve Marberg says, you might consider using the iPhone as a camera. It's better than most webcams. I would tend to agree with you on that one, but I was just kind of like, this is the camera that I have. I'm used to using it. I just wish it would work longer, but if I'm spending most of my time on this dinky little webcam, it doesn't really help me that much. All right. All right, Oreo-san says, good to see you again. Says, hey, Kofuzi, I'm prepping for my first half marathon in September. I was wondering if the Endorphin Speed is a good shoe for the race. Currently training in them as well. Yeah, I think it is, for sure. It's a really versatile shoe. You could do a lot of stuff with it, and you can even race in it. I think the Endorphin Pro is also a really good shoe. And if you like the speed, I do think that the Endorphin Pro is a nice like bump up for a half marathon. But it's your first half marathon. So I would say stay with the Endorphin Speed because you're going to like them. You'll be familiar with them, and it'll be a great shoe for you to race in. The Endorphin Pro, for me, some people love it at the marathon distance, but I only like it at like half marathon or faster. That's the only time where I really feel like I'm using the entire shoe. So it's a little bit more like of a specific shoe than the Endorphin Speed is. So I think for your first half marathon, I think that the Endorphin Speed is a good one. And if you were to look for another one, I would look at probably Endorphin Pro first. Oh, Alex Gonzalez says, just picked up the Jabra Active 75T earbuds for $114 on Prime Day, and they're awesome. Thanks for the recommendation. That is a fantastic price. That's actually a really good price. It's a really good price on that one. I'm glad you enjoy, Alex. And Google Man talked about the Endorphin Speed as well. Ran in them for the first time. I had no idea how much difference a shoe makes in running. Just started running 3 months ago and loving it. Yeah, it makes a big deal. I mean, it's not make or break, because if you're just trying to get out there and running and start running, I always tell people, if they're thinking about starting running, I'm like, guess what? You already have everything you need to start running right now. So like, it doesn't make a difference in that regard. But once you start getting into it, it's really fun to kind of play around with all the different other kinds of shoes and see what they have to offer and see why things are different and how those are strengths in certain areas and not. It's fun. It could become a rabbit hole. A lot of people get pretty fanatic about it, but I'm glad you're enjoying the Endorphin Speed. Stevie76 is here. What's going on, Stevie? Good to see you again. And Kevin Bickern said the Welsh runner just did a 50K race in 3:18. What? With no mustache? Think about how much faster he could have gone if he had kept that mustache, though. I think once you get to 50K distance, you need the mustache. It's kind of like it's in the rules. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules, but that's amazing. Did he make a video about it? I want to go see that video. Logan Bishop says, how's the triathlon training going? I just got a membership to a gym that has a pool. So today was my third swimming session. It's not my third time ever swimming. I mean, I've been in pools my whole life, but like I've never swam on a team before. I've never had like a lesson before. So like trying to like swim like as a workout. Well, there was the one time my wife and I tried swimming as a workout. And we were like, this is terrible. How do people do this? And we never did it again. That was like 14 years ago. But like of this session, like my third swimming session, and I felt like I posted a video about it in my Instagram story, and my legs are just they're flopping. And my daughter looked at it, and my daughter was on a swim. No, she wasn't on a swim team. She was taking lessons, but she was at the age where she was at the point where they're like, hey, you should put her on a swim team. And then the pandemic happened. But she was watching this video and she's like, Daddy, your legs look like a jellyfish. And so I was like, I'm pretty sure you don't mean that as a compliment. She goes, no. But so I have a lot of work to do. But people have been really nice and offering a lot of helpful suggestions. Even Richard Murray, a professional triathlete, giving me some tips. So I'm like, getting some love. I'm getting the help. It's great. So I brought my little kickboard and tried to do some kickboard drills. It didn't really work real well. You guys will see all about it in the video. Yeah, it was kind of a mess. I ended up at one point I was kicking on the kickboard and I stopped moving in the pool, and I'm pretty sure I started moving backwards while kicking. So yeah, So I got a lot of work to do, but progress. I feel like we're about to hit an inflection point where things are going to be on the upside. And I think probably for now I'm going to focus on swimming and steeple training because I've got some weird things on my schedule coming up. And then after that, then I think we'll then focus on more of the bicycle. But yeah, I think it's going well. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure that I'm going to be able to complete the swim. So that's where ultimately, if I were to bet on it, like I give myself less than 50-50 odds right now. So I got a lot of work to do. John Ader says, the Endorphin Speed and the Hoka Mach 4 are the best shoes I've ran in the last few years and work for so many different scenarios. Those are two really good shoes, aren't they? Ed Chan says, if we're going to pick a stay, like a runner to test shoes, we need a Vauxhall Astra, a crappy shoe, slow shoe that runners are forced to run in, maybe something like a pair of Ultra Boost 21. Yeah, I wouldn't want to think that many people running the Ultra Boost. But I suppose that could work. I'd rather put people in like a Solar Boost than that for like the reasonably priced shoe. But how much is a Solar Boost? Isn't it kind of expensive? I don't know. All right. Charles Ventura said, "Hey everyone, got my second shot this morning. Great job, Charles." He said, "I did a hybrid vaccination due to availability. So Pfizer first and Moderna second. Starting to feel it. Stay safe, everyone." Are we allowed to do that now? I didn't know that. I didn't know that that was a thing. But very cool. Very cool. Yeah, Mark Ingram says swimming is hard. It is indeed. It is indeed. All right. Let's see. Hassan Raza says, I'm a fatty, haha. 90. Those are his words, not mine. For those of you just listening, he says, I'm a fatty, haha, 90 kilos, 200 pounds, and a slight overpronator. I've been running in sandals, LMAO. So I'm looking to buy my first pair of everyday trainers for long, medium speed jogs. Any ideas? I would look at the New Balance 1080 version 11. I feel like that one's going to be a good one for you. I would consider the Cliftons as well. I might also look at the Saucony Ride. I think I haven't tried the 14, but I enjoyed the 13. I've been running in the rides for a few years now. So those are probably like the first three that I would look at. And also the New Balance Fresh Foam More. I've been really enjoying that. So 2 choices from New Balance and then 1 from Saucony and 1 from Hoka. So those would be probably the first ones that I look at. But yeah, I mean, you can run in sandals. That's cool. But if you're curious about the running shoes, I would say, get something sooner than later. I think your body will thank you for it. Andrew Bostic says best daily trainer. Frank Lahuder says Nova Blast. I probably agree with the Nova Blast 2 for 2021. I don't see anything that's going to dethrone it for me. I think that's probably going to be it for me. Mach 4 is also pretty high on the list. Matt Coronero says, and other than Chicago Marathon, any other iconic Midwest races you recommend? I think the Indy Monumental Marathon is a pretty fun race. It happens in November, so like if you're a cooler weather runner, you're guaranteed a cool race day. This 2019, it was like in the 30s, so like it was wintry. But like Chicago, some years it's been like in the 70s, almost 80 degrees. But most years it's kind of like cold and dreary. So like, but it depends. So there's some variability, but that's one that I would consider running. A lot of people do Flying Pig. That's somewhere in Ohio. I'm not sure which one that is. So that's another one. Grandma's would probably be the second highest on the list. So in my estimation, it'd probably be like Chicago, Grandma's, Monumental. Who am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing somebody. I don't mean to offend. But Grandma's is a race that I do really want to run. It's on Lake Superior, point to point, net downhill. Lots of people from Chicago, especially, also do travel to that. So I feel like Chicago shows up well there. So that's a good race that I've heard a lot of good things about. John Andrews says Twin Cities 10 miler is amazing. Is Minnesota the Midwest? I don't know if they call themselves North. But yeah, I would consider that the Midwest for sure. Twin Cities 10 miler, huh? Is it hilly? That's what I would want to know. I'd be worried about that. And Phil Orman says, got to go Indy Mini. The half marathon for Midwestern races is one of the largest in the country and, in course, includes a lap around the Motor Speedway. I've heard about that one, yeah. I've been to the Motor Speedway once to watch the Indy 500. I think it was like maybe like 2002 when I watched it. Yeah, it's an incredible stadium. All right, let's do a couple more. We got Luis Gallardo says, thoughts, everyone? Endorphin Speed, Rincon 2, or Hoka Carbon X for a marathon race? I think all three of those are good choices, but if I were to rank them, we're talking about Carbon X1 or Carbon X2. I'm going to assume you mean Carbon X2. I'd probably go, it's close. And I think it'll be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to put the X2 a little bit ahead of it. because it's got the full-on carbon rather than the nylon plate. But I probably put the Carbon X2, the Endorphin Speed, and then the Rincon 2. That's kind of the way I would put it. But I think that a lot of people are saying like get the speeds because they can do it all. I think you could do a lot more with the speed. So if you're looking to not buy a separate race shoe, then the speed probably puts it up top too. Mark Dalton said, love the channel reviews. Well, thanks, Mark. Thanks for stopping by. I love to have you here. Sean Marshall is here as well. What's going on, Sean? Good to see you. And Natalie says, any update on Kofuzi Run during the Chicago Marathon? Traveling to Chicago from New York City for the race, and it'd be great to do a meetup. Yeah, I haven't even thought that far ahead yet. We'll definitely do a shakeout run, probably Saturday. Last year we did, or in 2019 we did one from like the Chess Pavilion and then ending at the Bean. That ends up being about 3 miles, and then you get a nice photo op at the end. So I do like that one. And then I don't know if like there'll be other events that we could do somehow. I'm trying to think about that. Like maybe we do a live stream. I'm not sure if that's possible from somewhere. That seems like a lot of logistics. Or maybe we'll just do a live like podcast or something. Maybe we could have some friends and then, have an audience too somehow. I've been thinking about stuff like that. So that's kind of like where my mind's at. I don't think we'd need a really big venue because I don't think it would be a ton of people, but maybe like 30 to 50 people. So I think we need like a room. So that's something that I'm kind of got my mind on. But if I know that like, doing like a shakeout run and like that on a Saturday, because the race is on Sunday, like doing that on is the race on a Saturday this year? I'm trying to think. Like if you do it 2 days ahead of time, a lot of people aren't here in town yet. If you do it the day before, that's a lot of stuff to do the day before. So that's kind of like, I got to try to figure that kind of stuff out. Chris says, make it throw everyone a curveball and make it a shakeout lake swim before the Chicago Marathon. I wanted to have a low impact, zero impact activity for you guys. So we're all going to jump in the lake. Oh man. Yeah. And then Mitchell Gomes says, any chance of doing a Jaybird Vista 2 review? Maybe. I don't know. I think that, I may have inadvertently offended Jaybird. So I don't think they're really talking to me. Not that matters. But I didn't love the Jaybird Vista one. So maybe I'll kind of peek at some other people's reviews and see if it's changed a lot. And then if it has changed a lot, I might. But, it excelled in areas that I didn't really need it to excel. And it lacked in areas that I really needed to excel. But, I don't know. I'm running longer events now, spending more time out there on adventures. So maybe some of that epic battery life is more important to me, but so maybe is the best I could say. This is Jaybird drama. No, I mean, it's not drama. What happened was they sent me 2 pairs of earbuds, the Vistas and the like X2 or the ones that are like corded. There's a cable between them. Even they're Bluetooth, but they have a cable between the 2 pieces. And I made the review for the Vista, and it wasn't the best. It wasn't like gleaming. And then like around the time that like the video came out, they also sent me the other ones, the one with the cable, but they sent it in a way that I had to sign for it. And we were out of town or something. And I didn't realize that I had to sign for it. And so I guess the delivery attempts were made like 3 times, and then they decided to send it back to sender. And so like, I think from them, it looks like, I was like, I really don't like your earbuds. I panned it on YouTube and I rejected delivery of the other one. So I don't know. I haven't heard from them since. I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. Maybe I just need to reach out. But yeah, it's not a thing. But Heavy Runner Weightlifter says, hello, just wondering, how long does it take you on average to edit the videos? Does it get complicated? It can get complicated. That's why I like to do a lot of the ones where I'm doing a lot of talking while I'm running, because then it's like that saves a whole bunch of filming time and usually a lot of editing time too. But the videos take probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to edit these days on average. Some take a lot longer, some take a lot less. So that's why I kind of like to have I have hard days and easy days with running. Some I like to make it so it's a lot easier on me in terms of the production schedule, and when I know that I'm going to have some really big ones coming up. So, yeah. Adrian All says, what's a great plush daily trainer for easy days? Right now I'm running in the Fresh Foam More 3. Very, very plush. And I would say something that's a little bit lighter than that, but still feels nice and soft underfoot, I would say is the Clifton. And the Nova Blast 2. That's another one too. Yeah. Chris says, have you tested any headphones for phone call quality while running? My Bose and Vistas are not it. You know, I don't test them for phone call quality, but I do. And these days, no one calls me anymore, which is great because I detest talking on the phone. But occasionally I will answer the phone while running. My Jabra Elites do well. They do really well. Usually it's just my wife that I'm talking to when I'm running, but that's usually the only person. So I don't ever have long conversations while running, but the Jabra Elites, I think, do a good job. Yeah, Sean says, Mike, you should do a budget shoe tournament, like a nameless Amazon bracket. Then I would have to run in all of them. I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. I don't think I could do that. Yeah. Andrew PBD says, does anyone experience stomach cramps and diarrhea after running for long with a good speed? I don't normally get that. I mean, there's some times where I have a really good bowel movement and it might not always be the most solid after a long run. And you know, a lot of that can be just the jostling. You know, your insides are getting moved around quite a bit. I mean, I'm not a GI doc by any means, but my take on it is that, like, I think a lot of it could be jostling. If it's more than just kind of like a loose-ish stool, then the thing that I would look at is what have you been eating during the run? So like if you've been taking in a lot of gels and sugars, you know, that could be just GI distress from your body, you know, not being able to handle as many sugars as you're throwing in there. Or maybe like whatever you got in there just doesn't agree with your stomach, carbohydrates aside. So I would look at what nutrition you're taking in during the run and just experiment to see if other things don't give you those issues. All right. Stevie says this is Kofuzi is regular. Yes, that's right. Maybe that should just be the next year, a regular. And Matt McAdams says, are you really coming to Baltimore for the Believe in the Run party? Yes. I told you guys already that I mentioned, did I tell you? I think in my race calendar video, I was like in July, I'm going to Baltimore. That's what I'm going for. So I know they call me out on the podcast the other day. They're like, you know, Ben Johnson's coming, Featherston's coming, trying to get Kofuzi to come. But I had messaged Thomas and I was like, oh yeah, I'll go already. So I messaged him today and I was like, dude, I am coming. I just got to book some flights, but I'm going. So I cleared it with the wife. We're good. So yeah, I'll be in Baltimore. So you guys should all come and there'll be a 5K, I think, right? It's the only party that I can think of that starts at 9 a.m. But you know, that's cool. We'll do the 9 a.m. party. And I think at some point there's like a group run. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. I'll be there. All right. Alex Gonzalez says, and we'll make this the last question for today, says, what's your thoughts on training plans made by Garmin or any other brand? Are they pretty reliable, or does it put too much stress on making sure your load and productivity are up? Yeah, I don't think that it just constantly like loads you too much, because, you know, they also understand the overtraining. I think that for the most part, you know, I think that if you don't really know where to start, I think a plan that comes with your watch is probably a good place to go. So let's say like you've been running and your thing is like, I just want to start running, and you've built a habit where you're running 3 or 4 times a week. Maybe you go out there for like 30 times. Maybe you're walking, you know, walk, jog, that kind of thing. And you're like, now what? I think getting a watch and going with the plan on there, I think can be a really great next step. The thing to be careful with that though, is I think a lot of those are going to be dependent and giving you your advice on what to do next, depending on how much you've been stressing your body lately. And for me, no matter what watch brand I use, if it's on the wrist, the heart rate reading is not going to be reliable for me. So I use an external heart rate monitor. So that's the only area I'd be careful, because if I didn't use an external heart rate monitor, I think it would think that every run that I was doing, I was like maxing out my heart rate. And so it would basically be telling me every time, I don't know about every time, but I suspect that a lot of times it would be like, hey, you need to take it easy. So like that's the it needs to get good data in for it to give you good information out. But otherwise, I think it's a great way to go. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today. Tomorrow's video is going to be the last 2 days. I've had some recovery runs. I've been doing a lot of speed work. So I need those runs to be easy in between those speed work days. So we're going to do Fresh Film War 3 versus the Invincible. That'll be tomorrow's video. And that's going to be a video that takes a long, those versus videos do take a long, they're closer to 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours to make. And there's also just a lot more filming because it's 2 days worth of filming, 2 shoes, there's just more. So we got that. And then we'll do happy hour live stream on Bring Your Recovery Beverage of Choice. And hopefully I'll see you then. Same time as today, 1 p.m. Central. Until then, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.